Yo, what's up, you guys? So I have some handhelds here for testing, and the ones I'm most excited to be checking out are the new Steam Deck OLED models. So I have the limited edition Steam Deck OLED here with the anti-glare screen, of course, as well as the regular 512 gigabyte Steam Deck OLED with the glossy screen. So I'm excited to test these out. So I have a few popular handhelds here. This down here in the bottom right is the original Steam Deck with the glossy screen here. So this doesn't have any anti-glare. It's not OLED. This is the LCD Steam Deck with the glossy screen. So we're gonna check it out, see how it compares to these other screens here. Now I have the Legion Go up here with this giant 8.8-inch display. I have the ROG Ally with the 1080p 120 hertz display, as well as a popular Windows handheld, the Neo 2S here, because I think this has one of the best LCD panels on a screen right now. So just testing it out. We're getting a sense of the colors, the contrast, the saturation, and everything like that in this test. So I'm playing a similar scene on all of these devices here, and we can get a sense of how these displays are reproducing colors. You can see here on the ROG Ally, we have a pretty saturated display and pretty bright as well. So these are all on max brightness, and we can see that the ROG Ally does look very nice, I must say. So for an LCD panel, it does look good. Some may argue that the Legion Go looks even better, but it can go either way as far as colors, contrast, and saturation. So I do think that the Legion Go does look nice for a LCD panel, as well as the Neo 2S. So this is one of my favorite panels. It does get very bright, very saturated. The colors and contrast are very high. Now, the main thing that I think people are wondering is how does the glossy Steam Deck OLED go up against the anti-glare Steam Deck OLED? And I must say, it's hard to tell just by looking at them, which one is which. I mean, I have them side by side here, and it's hard to really tell unless you get some reflections, unless you were in a dark scene. It's hard to really tell which is which. I think you can see here, the glossy screen is reflecting the light a little bit different than the anti-glare version. You can see here the anti-glare version, the light is more soft, it's more sort of spread out versus the glossy one. It just looks more reflective, more glossy. Now, unless you're in a lot of high light environments with direct light, or you play a lot of outside gaming, then I think that you will be happy with the glossy version. But if you play in a situation where you have a lot of light, direct light, you may want to check out the anti-glare version because it's not much degradation. I know a lot of people talk about how the anti-glare version you lose a lot of contrast, you lose a lot of saturation, but you don't really lose that much. Of course, we all know scientifically, mathematically, the way that anti-glare screens work at reflecting light, you're going to lose a slight percentage of that contrast, of that saturation, but it's not so much where it's going to make a huge difference in your experience. You're not going to be looking at the anti-glare version and just wishing that you had something better because it's not sort of a great difference in the overall quality. The colors, as you can see here, the colors still look very saturated. The contrast is still good. Now, if you are in a lot of dark scenes, you may definitely appreciate that anti-glare screen because you're not going to be seeing your reflection staring back at you the entire time you're in a dark environment in a game. So it could go either way, but I will say if you are afraid to get the anti-glare, don't be afraid to get it. If you think you need the anti-glare because of your scenario that you play in, don't be afraid to get it thinking that you're missing out on the glossy version. But if you're also looking to get the limited edition version, as you can see, I have the limited edition version, don't be afraid to get the limited edition version if you can get it because you don't want that anti-glare screen. I will say that the anti-glare screen is not a disappointment. As you can see here, the colors and the contrast are very similar and it's hard to really tell unless you are actively looking for how it reflects light. But if you're playing at a regular angle without direct light on the screen, it's hard to tell and you're not going to really miss out. Now, if you're coming from the LCD Steam Deck, I will say that it is a great improvement coming from the LCD Steam Deck. The colors, the contrast is a great improvement over the LCD Steam Deck, especially the viewing angles. As you can see, on axis is pretty good, but as soon as you go off axis, you start to lose a lot of that colors and contrast because of how LCD screens work with that backlight illuminating the entire panel at once. So I will say the OLED is going to give you much better viewing angles. As you can see here off axis, we're not losing colors and contrast, but we do have that sort of glare there. So as you can see the reflections there, you do get that off axis, but you're not really going to lose any sort of colors and contrast as you go off axis. Now you can see the anti-glare version is much better at I guess mitigating those reflections. So I'll put these up side by side, and as I tilt them forward, you can see this one gets the reflection and this one doesn't really get that reflection as much. As you can see here, it doesn't really get that much reflection off axis. Now I will say if I had to give a trophy to the best screen out of all these handhelds, I would probably say the Steam Deck OLED with the anti-glare screen. I think for like most scenarios, like 90% of scenarios, the anti-glare screen is a benefit if you're outside. And it's really a tie between the anti-glare and the glossy, in my opinion, because it's really for a different scenario. You're not losing so much with the anti-glare to the point that the glossy is the definite winner. It's only if you have them side by side in a very specific scenario would you look at the glossy and say, man, I wish I had the glossy over the anti-glare, but you're not really losing much, maybe like a percent or two, and it's not big enough to make you regret getting the glossy version. So for my opinion, I would say that the glossy and the anti-glare are pretty much tied. And then I would have to say that the LCD screens, as far as LCD screens goes, the Legion Go does look pretty good. Colors, contrast, viewing angles are all great. Of course, that size. So as far as the screen goes, I think the Legion Go is pretty much second to none as far as LCD screens go. Then it's your choice between the ANEO 2S as well as the um, ROG Ally. Now, of course, if you want that 120 hertz, you got to get the Ally. But I think as far as just colors and contrast and overall quality, I think the all of these screens are great. Now, the Steam Deck original LCD is sort of lacking behind, in colors and contrast. I am on the latest update where they did add the option to sort of enhance the colors, and you could also do it with a plug-in Vibrant Deck. But I will say that the screen itself in its base form is not the best. Now, just take in the screens here. Leave a comment down below of what you think is the best screen. Are you considering the anti-glare or the limited edition Steam Deck OLED? Are you more inclined to get the glossy version, or are you happy with the LCD? And let me know what's your favorite screen out of all of these screens if you had a chance to experience any of them. Let me know in the comments down below all of your thoughts on these screens, and whoever gets the most comments will be crowned the winner of all screens. So make sure you comment your favorite screen down below. And as always, like, subscribe, hit that bell, all that great YouTube stuff. Let me know what other tests you want to see, because I have all these devices in house. Let me know what test you want to see. We're going to put it to the test, and excited to try out these new OLED Steam Decks. I think we're in the renaissance of PC handhelds with these great updates and devices that are coming out. So I'm excited to see where this all goes. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one. And don't be afraid to get that anti-glare screen. So that's all I gotta say. Peace.